Hello, everybody. This is Tim Hart, branch manager of VanDyk Mortgage here in Fort Myers, Florida. Welcome to an episode of the Heartbeat Show podcast with my longtime friend and now author, Robin Whitt. Robin, how you doing?
Hi, I'm great.
Good. I'm glad to hear. So, buddy, got you on here. I wanted to talk with you a lot because I've got something in my hands, Robin. You surprised.
That could be scary.
It's paper. So let's clear that up. Here, I'll just show you. It's your book. Okay. Let's just get the joke out of the way. Your mind is in the gutter. We're talking about spiritual recipes, and you already went there with the joke. So, Robin, this is your book. Kind of came out of nowhere for me, right? I didn't know that you had plans to put out this book. It's called Spiritual Recipe, a simple guide for your spiritual awakening. And you put this out last week, I think, right? Was it last week?
11/11.
11/11, which, by the way, I'm going to ask you is the price of the book as well. So let's get into 11/11 later. Let's talk about your book, though, Robin. First, fill everyone in on what inspired you to write this book, because you've never written a book before, right?
Never written a book. Well, when I was like 10 years old, I used to write books all the time, but those were a little different.
Right.
What inspired me to write this book? I've had a lot of changes in my life in the last 6-7 years, and people would ask me, like, what am I doing differently? And so actually, like 6 years ago, I started taking notes. Like, I want to write a book, and I started taking notes and just things that I would say to someone. I wanted to be able to have a guide to say, here, this is what I do to be happy. And more importantly, I really wanted to write something to give my kids and my grandchildren so that they could see what I did that really helped me. I know my kids and my husband, they all know what I preach to them all the time, all of my stuff. But, if I put it in black and white, they have to read it.
Yeah. You got some funny kids and husband too. So that's fun stuff. So then so this has been going on though for you then for about the last 6 years.
Right. Yep. But this year I really got serious. Like, this is the time I need to get this done. I need to get it out. So here we are.
Gotcha. I want to take a second to brag on you though. Okay. Before we get into the book, because I read it. It's a super quick and easy read. And I've read a ton of self-improvement, sales, business, mindset, all those type of books. Been into it for a long, long time. And your book, and I'm not saying this because we're friends and you're right in front of me, virtually right in front of me. It was great. I really loved it. You absolutely killed it. It was a very easy read. You didn't get into the weeds, like a deep dive on each thing. It was all the 10,000 foot view, as I'd call it. And it was your goal for this book being the recipe and almost a starter type guide, would you say?
Yep, that's exactly what I wanted. And I didn't want it to be a hard read. I wanted it to be an easy read because I've read a gazillion of those kind of books too. And sometimes I feel like the author is just trying to show you how smart they are, and use words above your head. And I just wanted that book is just me. It's just me talking and nothing special about it.
Well, it's special because it's you. But for real though, like I want to make sure I get that out there before we start talking about the book. I loved it. I recommend it to anybody who is remotely interested in maybe getting a little jump start in their life, or maybe things are going good and you just need a little bit of a reminder, or if you just want to support your friend that get the book. But the other part that was super fun, and I don't know if you've heard this from anyone else, but the entire time I read it, it was your voice.
No, I have not heard that.
No? I guess I was reading it. I just had you reading it to me the whole time. It was pretty fun.
That's a little scary.
No, come on. All right. So, I want to talk to you about the book some. Okay.
Okay.
So, a couple points that stuck out for me. One, um, did not know the background from your childhood that you had mentioned in the book. Um, would you mind sharing that? Because it's in your book, and so would you mind sharing that part where, about that?
Right. Well, you didn't know because I think maybe 5 people knew this, and that was only recently. Even my husband didn't know until maybe 10 years ago that when I was 15, I was raped. My parents didn't know. No one knew. I was scared to death to tell anyone. I thought that my dad would kill the guy and go to prison, so I wasn't about to let that know. And I was 15, I was a child, and I didn't know if I would get in trouble. I didn't know if I had done something wrong, which obviously I didn't. And so I just smushed it all in, and I just kept it all to myself. And I thought that if I just put it away and lock it in a little box, it'll go away. And that doesn't work. And it started coming out in other ways. I was very depressed for a long time, really depressed, so depressed that I tried to kill myself, and that didn't work. And I felt like a failure of that too. I was bulimic. I was 90 pounds, I think, when I was in 11th grade, tiny little thing. And my parents thought it's just some, teenage angst, and they didn't understand. When I tried to kill myself, I had OD'd on sleeping pills, and I took all of them out. I remember it was little plastic packets, and I popped them all out and put them in a pile. And I didn't know what to do with the plastic packets. What, I don't want somebody to find this, gosh, I'm going to be dead. Want somebody to see all these plastic packets. I stuffed them under my mattress, went to sleep, and I woke up, I don't know when, how many hours later, and I threw everything up. That was, an intervention right there, and went back to sleep. I have no idea how long, but my mom, I remember her waking me up like a day or so later, and she's like, I know you're on drugs. We found these packets under your mattress. And she had no idea. She had no idea what I had done or tried to do. And she didn't know until actually the Friday before the book came out. That's when I told her.
Really?
Yeah.
You held it in for that long.
She knew nothing about any of that. And she was upset, but she blamed herself. And I was like, you have nothing to blame yourself for.
Why didn't she know as a parent type thing?
Right.
Yeah.
But just so it's out there, nothing to do with my mother or my father. They were wonderful parents. It was me. It was my journey.
Yeah. And it's, thanks for sharing it, because as I was reading it, because I've known you for a long time, I was like, oh my God, like I didn't, have no clue that you went through all that at that age. And, that's a lot to hold in, especially as a young kid. And then throughout all your life, I didn't realize only 5 or 6 people knew before you went for it in the book too. You got guts.
Well, I felt like I had to tell that part because it
Yeah.
only makes sense for the rest of my life, because even my family would say to you, oh, she's just had a happy life. She's not had any issues. It's just been, little princess and fairy tales and all of that. But that's not true. And that's the thing with so many people. You don't know. You see
Mhm.
their Facebook little
Right.
timeline that everything's perfect, but we've all got crap.
Yeah. The fake book, as we call it, right?
Right.
I learned that as I was getting older, and before even social media came out. You see these, especially I saw it with married people. The perfect marriage and the 2 or 3 kids, and they're all kids are good, and life's going great, but behind the scenes, behind closed doors, complete and utter chaos and turmoil, but they put up the good front, like people do on social media.
Right. And I feel like where I was in that space, if I can make it out of there, anybody can make it out of there.
Well, I think you're right though, and you having to share that story to be able to put out a book, like you put out, you went through all of this, and here you are here. This is how you did it, compared to someone that maybe just had a silver spoon in their mouth and had no trauma or nothing, and then tries to go out and tell everyone else, how to do it when they didn't have any struggles. Right.
Right.
Oh man, good stuff. The part of that also caught me was you said you had basically a voice, right? Talk to you.
Yep.
Yeah, can you talk about that?
When I was going through that deep, dark depression, and this was after I had already tried to kill myself, I was sitting on my bed one day, just bawling my eyes out, which was a normal thing at that time. I was just
but with no one around, probably, right?
Yeah, no one around, and had to keep that to myself too. And I just had a voice come into my ear and say, if you want to be happy, you just have to be. You just have to be. And
wait, it said you just have to be, or you have to be happy?
You just have to make that choice. Just be happy. Just choose happiness. And I don't know, it was literally a voice. And I knew it was something more than my imagination, and that stuck with me, and it changed me from that point forward. My depression just slipped right away, and I became a normal teenager.
What do you think who do you think that was talking to you?
I think that it was my higher self.
Well, so explain to me what do you mean by your higher self?
By my higher self, okay, we're gonna really get deep here.
Ooh, we got time. We got time, Robin. This is good stuff.
So when I talk about my higher self, I talk about my all-knowing self, my part that's still there in whatever realm you want to talk about, as far as with God, in that completely just all love place. And I think that all of us, we have our higher selves, and then we have a little piece of our higher self that comes here to experience this life on earth. And our higher self is still there guiding us if we listen.
Yeah, if we listen. Because like when I was reading that part, I had something, the exact same type of thing happened to me. Mid-20s, driving. Can I tell you real quick? Do you care?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't want to take over yours. This is about you, Robin, not about me.
No, but see, it's about everybody.
Yeah, but I had the same thing happen. I was driving back from a conference. It sucked. It was 2009, I think, middle of, you were in the real estate. It was a meltdown central, and just wasn't a good place. But
you were in your 20s in 2009.
What, mid-20s, I think. Don't call me back on my age. Don't make me think about this right now. I can't remember. It was definitely 2008 to 2009, somewhere in there. And I was driving by myself, and wasn't in that good of a mood. And it was I was by myself, plain as day. It said, call Travis and tell him everything's going to be okay. And it like, just like someone was talking right in my ear as I was driving. And my brother's name's Travis, but also my best friend's name's Travis.
Right.
Travis, he knows this story. It's Travis Smith. And so anyways, I call him up and I said, hey, buddy. And he's all goofy, like giving it back to me. And I go, this is going to be weird, but a voice literally just told me to call you and tell you everything's going to be okay. So this is me telling you everything's going to be okay. And the phone was dead for probably, I don't know, about a minute or two. And it was pretty profound for me to be involved in this, by the way. I was almost honored. But he was choked up, and then he proceeded to tell me that he can't believe I called because all day and the entire week he's been struggling with leaving his job. He had a job he didn't like at all, and he's always wanted to go back and coach football and be a teacher. And so he was struggling, how am I going to do it financially? And a lot, it's a big life change from his job. But so earlier in the day, his wife had emailed him and said, hey, everything's going to be okay. We can do this. We'll make it work. His mom called him out of nowhere and said, hey, I got a weird feeling. Are you doing okay? And then here comes like his best friend over the top, like an hour later saying, hey, dude, a random voice just told me to tell you everything's going to be okay. So he ended up quitting his job and became a football coach and all that stuff. So it was pretty cool. But that really touched me because it happened to me as well, that voice.
Right. And I think that I know everyone gets those messages. It's just whether or not you choose to recognize them.
Yeah, you're probably right. How much stuff happens in front of us that we just miss because we're not paying attention.
Right.
Cool. Good stuff. So with this book, first off, you self-published it, correct?
Correct.
Yeah. And what a feat that was. So you want to explain that? How did that go for you?
That was a feat, but the wonderful world of internet and YouTube, and you can learn how to do anything. So I have a friend who's published, and I talked to them, and to publish, it was going to take a year, maybe 2 years to go with a traditional publisher. There are what they call vanity publishers, which a vanity publisher, they charge you up front to do it. And, it just sounded kind of like a scam to me. So I looked into self-publishing, and I just did all the research. I found my own editor, and I found my own cover designer, and I got put on Amazon. I'm on Amazon and Barnes & Noble, everywhere like that. And I also have printed copies and designed my own website, and you can just YouTube everything.
Good for you. What did you learn about yourself by doing this whole book?
That I can do anything that I set my mind to, which I guess I knew that before, but this was like really a goal that I have to do this. I have to do this in my lifetime. And I just learned that if I just make that time, and that's the hard part because I'm busy with my work. And so making the time to devote to the book, the writing it part was fun. When you get to the editing and all that, that's not very fun.
It's more work, more like work.
That was work.
Yeah.
That was work, and learning the whole publishing thing, that was a little bit of work, but it's worth it because I've had so much great feedback from people that have read it so far, and actually people who have told me that something in their life has changed because of it. And that was the point. If I could just help one person with my book, then it's worth it. It's not because I'm trying to make $1 million off of a book, which would be nice. So Oprah, call me. But but it really just to be able to, if I have a friend that's down and going through something, say, here's my book. And I think maybe there might be a little nugget in there that will help you.
So that was one of your goals then for the book, is just to help people?
That was the goal. It wasn't for fame or whatever, because I can't even read like the reviews, not because I'm scared of anything bad. I'm not doing this to feed my ego. I've tried very hard to get rid of my ego altogether, and it's just to help people, nothing more.
Gotcha. Well, that's a noble goal there, Robin. What chapter, because you the way you broke this book down, right? Every chapter is like one of your ingredients, would you say, right?
Right.
Yeah. See, I got it. I got it. See, you really dumbed it down if I got it, Robin. So you're all right. You're all right. No, but what chapter where do you think the majority of people need help in? Meaning, I guess I was trying to find, like, what chapter do you think will resonate the most with the average person?
I think that the chapter about negative, like bad practices,
That's chapter 6. I got it written down. Ingredients to avoid.
Yes,
I
I
got it.
think that everybody needs to like look at that and realize, because we all do it, especially right now, we get sucked into the news, and that's just a rabbit hole that never ends, and it's not doing us any good. So, I mean, you have to be informed, but I always say, because I don't watch the news and I have backed off of Facebook and social media, but I always say if something really bad is going to happen, somebody's going to tell me about it.
Yeah, well, there's that old saying, like, you can be informed, you don't have to be inundated.
Yes.
Where it just consumes you. And man, since COVID happened, I've gotten off my morning routine, which you talk about as well, which, so many people have them, right? Meditation, or, going for a walk, or working out, or affirmations, or reading, or whatever. And I got to get back into it. It's actually fairly frustrating for me. But I've always been a guy who I get up, and then I may read a few chapter of something, and then I'll do affirmations. I'll write them down, and also some prayer and stuff like that. And when I don't do it, I feel it around 10 or 11 a.m. I realize my day is off, and I know why.
It makes a huge difference in your life. And I know, same thing. If I'm, skip a day or two, I can tell, but it's work. Just like going to the gym and committing, you have to commit to it. But once you commit to it, you see the changes, and it's just can be an amazing thing in your life.
But what do you tell people then with social media? Because that's got to be one of the biggest time sucks, negative energy, or whatever you want to say. I would think, right? It's got to be up there.
Well, it definitely can be, but like my social media, if I go on Facebook, I don't go into that news feed, like just the scroll thing. I have groups that are things that I want to be part of, and I go to my groups and look at stuff in there where, no politics allowed or stuff like that.
And so you don't scroll your feed anymore, just looking for random people talking.
Very, very rarely. It's a scary place.
Facebook is nuts. It's such an amazing tool when you think about it, because you don't even need high school reunions anymore. The way it's connected everybody instantly, and at the same time, it's borderline turned everybody against us, or each other, not against us, but each other. So did you watch Social Dilemma?
I did.
Yeah. I did. Wild, right?
Scary.
But you kind of knew it, didn't you? Like before you watched the movie, and then seeing all these programmers and people that did it confirming it,
Right. Yeah, that's it. You knew it was happening.
Yeah, you knew. And then to watch these dudes that all created it all say, wow, yeah, we wanted your attention. And the one guy at the end is like, yeah, this will probably end in civil war. You're like, holy gosh. Great. Probably shouldn't have brought up civil war in this interview, Robin. That's my fault.
It's okay.
All right. Hey, so the other one that I thought was really good was chapter 8, where you said 10 simple ways to change your mindset.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that the no more mind reading was really a cool point that you put out there. Can you talk about that?
Well, how many people don't think that they're mind readers? You might not have a shingle up that says I'm a psychic, but we assume all the time. We assume something is going to happen. My mother last night, I hadn't talked to her all day because I talk to my mom every day. And I called her at like 9:15, and she was like, oh, I thought maybe you were sick. Well, why would you think I was sick? Just because you haven't talked to me all day. We assume things about people, or if maybe you haven't called me for a while, Tim Hart, on Tim Hart Tuesdays. And I think, maybe Tim doesn't want to work with me anymore. And you make up stuff in your head, and no, got to stop that. Just go straight to the source.
Yeah, but or just don't think the worst, and I'm guilty of it. Almost everything there's probably no one out there that's not going to read it and be like, damn, I do that. And
Right.
I do that too, you know, so many things we can work on, which is what I loved about it. So explain to me the 1111 thing. Because I noticed the price was 1111. I got it written down to ask you about it. And then you mentioned you released it on 1111, which I didn't know. What does this mean?
Well, the funny thing about 1111, I asked Jimmy, my husband, the other night,
Shout out to Jimmy.
you remember when you were a child, like in elementary school, and it was 1111 and people would be like, oh, make a wish, it's 1111. Did you ever hear that? Because he didn't. I guess I went to school at some, woo-woo school.
It's some witchcraft school.
So let's see. Doreen Virtue, she's a writer, and she came up with angel numbers. I don't know, quite a number of years ago. But so if you see 1111 or you see 222 or 440, there's a whole list. You can Google it, what they're supposed to mean to you. Well, I don't go by what those meanings are supposed to be. I just feel like if I see 1111 or 222, one of those numbers, to me, it's like a little sign from my guides that say, you know what, you're on the right track. You're doing the right thing. And I see those numbers when I'm steadily doing my thing. But if I get off my routine, I don't see them anymore. So that's my thing.
All right, that's pretty cool.
But a lot of people have that number thing going on.
Well, we just had a client, one of the closers, she's Filipino, and this is the second loan we've done for her, and every time she has to close on a day that ends, or a date that ends in 8, it has to be 28, 18, 8, something like that. We had to put her loan into next month for a closing because she was, like the 8th, that 28th wasn't going to work, so we had to do the 8th. And she never really could explain what it meant, but that was just her thing. 8.
Well, there's a whole feng shui thing with numbers too, because people want houses that end in a certain number, and so if she wants to close on a certain day, that would make sense too. But numbers have always been a thing with me since I was a child. Something about numbers seem like they resonate with me with messages or whatever you want to call it.
Gotcha. So the feedback you've gotten already, what else, what is some of the best, like the feedback you're getting the most about? Like what has been some of the takeaways for people that have read already?
Well, to start with, I gave the book even before the edit. Before I even edited it, I gave it to my daughter-in-law, and one of my sons, Jesse, my son Jordan, said, I won't ever read this. So makes you, warms your heart as a mother.
How brutally honest. Hey, Mom, your lifelong dream here, and I'm not going to read it.
He's something, you know him.
Both your boys are something.
And I gave it to Jimmy, and I gave it to a close friend of mine to read. And I was like, to all of them, I said, if this should just be put in the garbage, just tell me, be brutally honest with me, and I will throw it away. And then I didn't hear anything for like over a week. And I'm like, oh God, it must really, really be bad. And I remember I asked Valerie, like, have you read any of it? And she said, oh, I'm just enjoying it. I'm just like saving a little bit for every night and just reading through it. And so that was like, that really made me feel good that somebody was actually enjoying it. And Jimmy went through and, circled my spelling mistakes, but but everybody really liked it. I think that Jesse said, well, this is not anything that we haven't heard before, Mom.
That's a good thing, though. I mean, it means you're trying to share with them, right? Well, yeah. I loved it. Yeah, I think you killed it. So congrats on that. What is your what's the next step for you? What's the big plan here? Where's Rob and Whitt? I mean, you got your real estate business as well, but like, what do you want this to go any further than just the book, or what's your plan?
I also am a meditation instructor, and that is working out very well. And I'd like to see that grow, because meditation is such a wonderful thing for everybody. And it's not a religious thing. People get really worked up about that. It has nothing to do with religion. It's just a beautiful thing that really can help you in so many aspects of your life. So I'd really like to continue to grow that, and, go on to Oprah, Super Soul Sunday.
what happens there? But a meditation instructor, like, is that all? What do you do? Do you have classes, or you just do it online, or what do you do?
Any way you want to do it. We can do it online. I can do it with people in person, and I've had classes too, but it's just simple techniques. People are so intimidated by meditation, like it's this mystery, and it's just the most simple thing in the world. And once you get the basic understanding of it, it's very simple for anybody to do. I took a course with the Chopra Center, Deepak Chopra, and that took a year. And I'm a certified meditation instructor, but they really emphasize on mantra meditation, where you repeat a certain mantra in your head while you're meditating.
Is a mantra like a saying, like, whatever, I am grateful, or is it like a noise? What, or is it either?
A mantra is like a saying, but the ones that I teach, the sayings are in Sanskrit, the Sanskrit language. And everybody, when you were born, the earth was making a certain sound at the time of your birth. And so we have a program, we can type in your date and the time of your birth, and we can come up with that sound, which is like a om, and the rest of the sound in Sanskrit. And you chant that in your mind, not out loud, while you're meditating. And I think that really is good for people, because so many people, your mind wanders, but when you have the mantra, you're more focused on that mantra and not worried about what we're going to have for dinner and who picked up the dry cleaning and all those million things that your mind wanders off to.
So the earth was making, so you can pinpoint the sound that the earth was making on my birthday.
I can't personally.
Do it right now on the spot, Robin. What sound? But you have something that you can type in the date of birth, and it'll pop it out for you?
Yeah. So
you got like Spotify of earth sounds. This is great.
Thousands of years ago, when the earth, there wasn't all this noise that we have, there were some little guys that went up on a hill and sat there every night and listened to all the different sounds, and they recorded the sounds in writing, because obviously they couldn't record them thousands of years ago. And so that's where they come from. So everybody, at whatever point you were born, the earth was making a certain sound during that time. And
I wonder what the sound for 2020 is going to be. Like car brakes, alarms.
It's so funny though, because I know how much bad has gone on in 2020, but for me, 2020 has been just such a blessing of a year. And I know that it's because of the place that I am and the work that I have put in over the last many years to be where I am.
Yeah, my wife and I talk about that a lot. You're like, 2020 sucks, 2020 this. And like, it's been one of the best years, we've had financially. There's other things going on that's, out of our control and your control out there. Right. But there are plenty of people that are having great years, as well as financially, spiritually, you name it. So I'm with you. Well, do you got any parting thoughts for us, Robin?
I didn't plan a parting thought.
Well, I hope that anyone watching this that knows you especially goes out and supports you and buys the book. I highly recommend it. I loved it. Where can they buy it at? Where do you want to direct people to?
Well, whatever's easier for anyone. It's available on Amazon. It's available at barnesandnoble.com. Or if you'd like an autographed copy, you can go to my website, spiritualrecipe.com, and get an autographed copy.
I almost, by the way, wrote my name in right here when you were doing the dedication up front. I was gonna put and Tim Hart just to do it. Hey, well, seriously, Robin, great job. Very proud of you. You should be proud of yourself too.
Thank you.
So many people have these type of goals to write a book. Hint, hint to my mom. And they don't, whether it's books or trips or all these other things that we all want to do. You knocked out one of your life goals. That's
Yep.
amazing. So congratulations to you. Good job.
I was a little bit worried about that. Full disclosure that this is a life goal, and I keep waiting that, like
it's over now.
Feel over it.
Hey, God's like, hey, you did it. Congrats, yank. You're done. That's funny. Well, Robin, good job. And we'll put all of Robin's your website and the links for it. They can find the links on your website, I'm sure, right?
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna direct them to your website, which is where again?
Spiritualrecipe.com.
Very easy. Cool. And then so again, you guys go out and support Robin. Buy that book. Give her a review as well. She won't read it for some reason, but at least it'll be there to help other people.
I have Jimmy checking them.
Oh, I got it. So you do it. Oh, okay.
But I tell him, don't read them to me.
Even the good ones.
I appreciate them, but I just can't.
Oh man, I read every one. I can't help it. I got to read them. And that one bad one you get out of like 100, I'm like, wow, what'd I do? What happened? So, all right. Well, hey, again, we'll put Robin's info all in there. Robin, if you get any other adventures you want to talk about that you have happened, you always got a free invite over here, buddy. So proud of you, and congrats again.
Thank you.
And if you're watching, don't forget, subscribe to this. We try to put out a lot of local content here in Southwest Florida. Some of it's about skunk ape, and some of it's about spirituality and politics and who knows what else. So again, Tim Hart, VanDyk Mortgage here in Fort Myers. If I can ever help you out with any mortgage needs, please give me a call, 239-437-4278. Like, share, and subscribe just to help Robin out. Share this with your friends that may find it interesting. So again, Robin, thank you, and you take care. Okay, buddy?
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Namaste, as you say, right?
Namaste.
No, all right. See you later.